Are you ready for an insane literary challenge like you've never seen before? In today's video, we're going to be putting my book knowledge to the test using Midjourney's version 5. But wait, there's more. We're also going to reveal AI-generated images of these iconic characters based on solely their descriptions. And I'll be attempting to solve character charades using these cryptic clues and mind-blowing AI-rendered images with 16 jaw-dropping prompts lined up. Can I uncover the identities of these beloved literary legends? Will the AI-generated images match how we know and love these characters? Or will they completely blow our minds with something unexpected? You don't want to miss this wild ride. So stick around and let's get this epic challenge started. Here's our first Midjourney prompt. As you can see, this is the new Midjourney's alpha that you can get access to. I'll be having another video about this specific layout, but here is the prompt that we're going to have. It is a defiant archer becomes the face of rebellion in a ruthless game. We're gonna keep it super simple, and I'm also gonna change a couple of settings over here. So we're gonna make this relaxed. So these are some of the settings. Before we even click on that, these are some of the settings in the new alpha that Midjourney is working on, a web app. So I'm actually gonna be doing all the images today on this specific web app, not on the Discord that we all know of. If you've done more than 10,000 iterations, you can actually jump on the Midjourney's web app. And let's say we make it a portrait. We're going to do this on version 5, so I'm actually going to stick with version 5 for this one. And no seeds, and everything else we're going to have the same. So I'm just going to save this. I'm going to call this version 5 preset. So we have that. And we can now click on that. Let's see what the AI generated image gives us. Based on the prompt that we have given over here, a defiant archer becomes the face of rebellion in a ruthless game. My hunch is this is Katniss Everdeen, the iconic character from Hunger Games. However, I like the essence that this one is captured because there is a vibe to it, but I think I'm going to do a variation of this one, and I also want to see. I think it's there, but it's kind of interesting how they've made her more different. I would leave it up to you. I also would like to hear in the comments down below what you think about this specific interpretation of Katniss Everdeen from the Hunger Games that we asked for from Midjourney. Let's move on to the next one. We saw the first one. I'm also going to be having all these images at the end, comparing with the characters that we know of, and I'm going to have them side by side as well. But our second character is a witty, intelligent, and fiercely independent young woman. Is the protagonist of the novel. She is known for her strong opinions and quick judgments, which sometimes leads her astray. Throughout the story, she learns the importance of self-awareness and personal growth. Let's see who this character could be. This one is really interesting because they are giving us text which I did not mention of, and I'm actually going to be re-rolling this, but I think this one could work. Can you guess the character? I would like you to also put some comments in the description below so that I would like to see who you think this specific character is based on the description. If you can, that'll be amazing. I'm going to do another reroll and just see what that would give us, because I think this one might be the strongest one for this specific. After the reroll, we can see that these are also completely different. Were you able to guess it? if I had to point out and say which one would be the most closest, probably this one. But I'm going to leave it up to you to decide if you think this one is the closest one, or if you think Katniss Everdeen was a close representation to the one that we have there. Again, these are the descriptions from the book. So these are book descriptions that I've just put into Midjourney, and I'm asking Midjourney to give us a solution for it. It's also interesting to see that we get different versions. So that's really nice. Now, I'm feeling really strong about this. We're going to go for the next one. We're going to have a brilliant and eccentric detective while his friend narrates the adventure. I think I know who this person already is. Can you guess it? Again, if you can guess with this, I would also like you to just pause it before we can have the actual answer for this, and you can also put it in the comments below, so I can also go around and see how many you were able to get right based on just the description. I don't think we need an introduction for who this person is. Exactly, that is Sherlock Holmes. I would honestly go for this one. This one still we had quite of a bit similarity as opposed to the previous one. Now, we're gonna go to the next one. Go for the next one. So the next one is gonna be a morally upright and compassionate lawyer in a small town. But I would honestly say this image or this image would be the ones that could be closely related. Again, that's something that I would really want you guys to also let me know what you guys think about the interpretation that Midjourney came up with. I just used character descriptions that are the descriptions of these specific fictional characters who are famous. Now for this specific one, we have a morally upright and compassionate lawyer in a small town. And now we have a description here. Can you guess who this could be? The images are a little bit different than what we have for the character, but obviously this is exactly how the character description has been given. So again, can you guess this specific character? I'm going to keep this one for the end. Again, all the images of the characters are going to be till the end, but some of them, as you were able to guess right off the bat, are still going to be there, and I've also mentioned a few of them in the beginning, but this one I'm going to keep it for the end, so you can go back to the end and see all the specific ones as we compare them with the literary comparisons of pop culture references of them. We're going to go for the next one. We have a few more that we're going to do, so I'm going to go for the next one. So now we are on to the next prompt. But I think we should be able to get who this specific character is. Well, just by the description, it's given us a completely different art style. For this one, it is supposed to be a character that we all know really well. Onwards with the next one. Now we have a couple more to go. At the end, I'm going to have most of their characters, and actually all of their characters, revealed and comparing. And then we're going to just decide who we think is the closest resemblance to the actual characters, and do they even make the actual characters like they're supposed to? Because for the previous one, it doesn't quite look like what we all know about. You're going to see why. But anyways, now we have another character, curious, brave girl who stumbles upon a magical land after falling through a rabbit hole. She meets a variety of peculiar characters during her journey. Do we know who this is? Well, let's see if Midjourney knows who this is. Well, this one is pretty much looks like what we know. So far, what do you think about the interpretations that we're getting from most of them? Are they similar to what we know of these characters? Leave a comment down below, and I want to see what you guys think about the interpretations that we have based on the description. Onwards with the next one. The next prompt we have is a sailor and an adventurer who is the sole survivor of a shipwreck. He finds himself stranded on a deserted island. Resourceful and determined, he learns to survive on the island for many years, eventually befriends a native man and teaches him English and Western customs. I think I know who this one is, and it's pretty similar to the main character. Again, I'm going to leave that up to you guys. I'm going to go for the next one. And that's going to be a small, seemingly weak creature who is unexpectedly chosen to be a part of a fellowship, tasked with destroying a powerful artifact. Despite his diminutive size, he demonstrates immense courage and resilience in the face of danger, great danger and temptation. Who could it be? We are seeing a few hit and misses. This specific one that we have over here is a complete miss in my opinion. But again, the description that we had was the description for Frodo Baggins from Lord of the Rings. Clearly, we don't see that over here with these specific ones. They are giving us like a demented little creature, but it's not exactly Frodo Baggins that was interesting to see how Midjourney took that specific example and made it into something else. Onward with the next one. 6 to 7 images so far with different prompt variations depending on what we have, like over here. I can tell you confidently that just a few of them are pretty accurate, but most of them are giving us completely different variations from exactly what we do have. We have another one now, and that's going to be a young man after being bitten by the undead creature becomes a nocturnal predator cursed to drink blood. Let's see who this character is. Now I'm going to tell you, yes, this is Count Dracula. As we can see clearly, this specific one with the prompt actually does work. I think even the interpretations that they have over here with the characters actually do work. Like, they do give that kind of a vibe. However, it's a little bit different from what we all know and love about vampire, Dracula specifically. So yeah, that's Dracula for you. Now the next one we have is born into a world of wealth and privilege. This idealistic young man rejects his family materialistic values and seeks enlightenment through a spiritual journey that takes him through walks of life and finding peace by the river. It's not exactly a character, it's also a religious person, but there you go. That character is from the book Siddhartha, and it's Siddhartha, that's Gautam Buddha. And as we can see, like there are different variations of it, and obviously again we have an issue with the hands where we have 3 hands here. I mean, Midjourney version 5 does have really amazing features and stuff, but I mean some of them are obviously a little bit off, like we saw with the Frodo Baggins one. We're gonna go with the next one. We have a few more. Do make sure to like this video and comment for if you are able to understand which descriptions were what kind of characters. Kudos to you if you were able to get all of this characters so far before Midjourney was able to get them. And how accurate do you think is Midjourney been so far with regards to the characters that we know and love from the famous literary books and stories? Now we are going to go with the next character, which is this mischievous young boy raised by a widow in a small town along the Mississippi River. Has numerous adventures with his best friend, often getting into trouble. He enjoys pretending to be a pirate, attending his own funeral, and even solves a murder mystery. If your guess is as good as mine, then probably you would be able to guess which character this is based on the description for this one. Unlike, again, some of the previous ones, this specific one, I think we know who this is. We're going to go again for the next one. We have another few more left, and I'm going to have all of the results put together. So do stick around till the end for that. The troubled Prince of Denmark grapples with the ghosts of his past and the question of retribution as he navigates the complexity of power and loyalty. That's what we have for this prompt. Let's see who this specific character is and what Midjourney thinks this character is all about. The ones that are obvious, obviously you've heard me say who they are, and you probably also have guessed it. You should be able to guess who this one is also, but in any case, if you've not been able to, you can also go around and check till the end. And now we have a whimsical chocolatier who opens the doors of his fantastical world, exposing the true nature of the children who dare to enter. This was a favorite of mine. Anything that you have based on all of these, I'm going to also have the timestamp for each of the separate characters. I'm not going to mention the character names. I'm just going to say character 1, 2, 3. So you can go down in the comments and you can actually say which character you think is which one. And we can see who is given us the most accurate Midjourney or all of us. So yeah, let's see who this character is and whether Midjourney was able to give us the most accurate answer based on just the description. Because I think I have a hunch who this one is. The closest one I would say is probably this specific one, but again, these references are completely different from what I had in mind for this specific character. Hold on till the end, because we have another 2 more. And now, I'm going to be putting in another one, which is going to be a majestic ruler of a magical realm. Guides a band of children in their quest to save their world from evil forces. This one is a wooden marionette brought to life by enchantment. He embarks on a journey of self-discovery and adventure, guided by his conscience and a longing to become a real boy. He navigates a world of temptation and trials, learning valuable lessons about honesty, bravery, and the transformative power of truth. The 15th image that we have over here does give us a close resemblance of who this is. I mean, in either case, it's a good representation as opposed to some other ones that we had before. It's a little bit more wooden. I would say this one probably is a little bit. But then again, I'm going to leave that for now. And then I have the last one, which is a kind-hearted and spirited farm girl who is swept away by a tornado to a magical land where she embarks on a quest to find the giant wizard and return home. Well, this one is pretty close to what I had thought about. Well, that's a wrap to this epic literary challenge. Now we're going to see each of the results for all of them. We did a total of 16 of them, and we used Midjourney's version 5 to get an interpretation using a prompt of exactly what those characters could be like. Those were not physical descriptions as we saw, but those were descriptions that would give us the general idea. Now I want to hear from you. How many characters did you get right, and how many characters do you think Midjourney was able to get right? To start off with, the first one that we had was a defiant archer becomes the face of rebellion. And for this specific one, it was more, in my opinion, that looked like Robin Hood. But I think of the 4 images, there was one image that really stood out as a Katniss Everdeen. Now obviously Katniss Everdeen that we know of is a completely different one for the Hunger Games. Now off to the next one which we had, which was a witty, intelligent, and fiercely independent young woman is the protagonist of the novel. She is known for her strong opinions and quick judgments, which sometimes leads her astray. Throughout the story, she learns of the importance of self-awareness and personal growth. As we saw, there were a few variations even in terms of the ethnicity, but the person actually was Elizabeth Bennet from Pride and Prejudice. Obviously, I did mention that Keira Knightley was the one that's the most popular, but obviously the book has its own description as well. Was the book's reference close to what we saw from Midjourney's own creation, or did Midjourney go completely off? Now, going over quickly with the third one, which was smack dab there, because I think that one was just perfect. And that one was a brilliant and eccentric detective, is famous for his exceptional and observational skills and deductive reasoning. He often relies on disguises and a keen understanding of human nature to solve mysteries, while his best friend narrates their story. It was pretty evident, and it was also interesting to see that Midjourney was able to give a reference of Benedict Cumberbatch. I didn't mention about that, but I guess. And also of the other 4, I think the first one and the third one were pretty close to the book. I'm gonna think that this one was a really strong one. Like, Midjourney was still able to give us something that we know of as Sherlock Holmes by Arthur Conan Doyle. We had the next one, which was a morally upright and compassionate lawyer in a small town defends a black man accused of harassing a woman during the Great Depression. He is a devoted father to his children and teaches them the importance of empathy and standing for justice. This was Atticus Finch from Killing of a Mockingbird. Moving on sharply after that, we have the next one, which was actually Harry Potter. An orphan boy discovers his special heritage and attends a school as a prophesied one. He must confront and defeat evil. Throughout the series, he learns about friendship, courage, and the power of love. The next one right after that we had was a curious and brave girl who stumbles upon a magical land after falling through a rabbit hole. She meets very peculiar characters during her journey, including a talking cat, a perpetually late rabbit, and a queen with a penchant for separating heads. Then over to the next one that we had, which was a sailor and an adventurer who is the sole survivor of the shipwreck. And this one, I'm not going to read the whole thing, but this one is actually Robinson Crusoe. Now, I think the one that went really way off was the one that comes out the next one. This one is Frodo Baggins from Lord of the Rings. Clearly, this is not Frodo Baggins because it shows us something else. It's a completely different monstrosity of a creature. It's the next one, a young man who, after being bitten by an undead creature, straight and simple, this was Dracula. And then this was not exactly a fictitious character, as I've also mentioned. It's more of a religious person. It's Siddhartha, and it's the story of Siddhartha. So born into a world of wealth and privilege, the idealistic young man rejects his family's materialistic values and seeks enlightenment. The next one, the mischievous young boy raised by a widow in a small town along the Mississippi River. The first image, definitely the first image. This one is Tom Sawyer. The troubled prince of Denmark grapples with the ghosts of his past and questions the retribution. Is a good one, but then again, I think it's got a lot of text heavy. This one is actually Hamlet. Well, this one was supposed to be my personal favorite because this is Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, and by Roald Dahl. A whimsical chocolatier opens the doors of a fantastical world, but it doesn't exactly look like that. I mean, I said the fourth one when we were actually going through the images, but it's also a small kid. It doesn't actually look like the description that we would expect of Willy Wonka. The next one that we had was a majestic ruler of a magical realm. This was Aslan from the Chronicles of Narnia. And then we have a wooden marionette brought to life by enchantment. Clearly that was Pinocchio. And the very last one. The very last one, if you were able to guess that was The Wizard of Oz. And I think it's going to be the third image and the first image minus the text. So now I want to know, how many characters did you get right? I have newsletter, which is the Art Tech Digest, which is once a week I post about all things AI as a creator to a creator. I also have a podcast that was made using a Level Labs. The voice of the podcast is voiced with Echo. It's in everywhere and anywhere that you listen to your podcasts. And so it comes out once in every 2 weeks. So you can go ahead and check that as well. If you like some of the other videos, you can check out the other videos right on the top over there, where I'm going to be having, where you can see the other videos of Midjourney and DALL-E ChatGPT as well. With all that said, see you in the next one. Until then, see ya.